Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gaynor.
My office bloke Aidan.
I'm Soph.
And today we're doing reasons why American breakfasts are the way they are.
American what?
What?
Breakfast.
Breakfast.
Reason why American breakfasts are the way they are.
Yeah, there we go.
Breakfasts. I don't eat breakfast.
No, I don't really eat breakfast unless like.
You're in a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like on a weekend if you've got a bit of time.
No, even on a weekend I don't.
On a weekend, I'm not even up in the morning.
Well, yeah, not up till 12, so.
But do you know what? I always say to her, I don't eat breakfast. But do you know, my girlfriend said to me, she was like, it doesn't matter what time of the day it's just the first meal you eat of the day, that's your breakfast. Because that's when you break your fast for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter when it is.
Ah.
So you have your breakfast at 3 p.m?
Yeah. My breakfast is my lunch, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I find that when I get up in the morning, I don't want anything at all.
No, yeah, same.
Yeah.
I'll have a glass of water. Sometimes even then I don't have anything. And then around about 10, 11 o'clock I might have a coffee or an orange juice. And then about 12 I'll have something to eat. But even then I'm not hungry. I don't know why.
Neither.
Whereas I find if I have breakfast at say 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, by 11:30 I'm starving.
Because it gets your metabolism going, doesn't it?
Something about me when I go to the football and I wake up at like 7 in the morning to go down to London or something. I'm like, I'm buying like stuff for breakfast and eating at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
And are you hungry when you have it as well? Yeah. Whereas I think as well because you get into a routine with like obviously like coming to work and like it's just your body gets used to eating at a certain time.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's a weekend and you're not in that routine, your body's like
I don't know if it's because I've had like 3 days before I've eaten or something.
Well, I was going to say also.
Yeah, maybe.
At work I would normally eat around about 12 o'clock, but at the weekend it's normally 3, 4 o'clock before I even eat anything, because by the time I get up and do a bit of stuff, have a shower, go out, have a few beers, and then think, right, what do I want to eat?
Yeah,
and
it's like 3, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
The maddest one for me is if I go on like a night out and drink loads, the next day I will struggle to eat dinner.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I can't eat till about 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Same.
If that, yeah.
Anyway, what are the, like, saying why American breakfasts are the way they are, how are they?
Maybe it's like the marketing of like what we eat, why we eat what we eat.
Like I said on another video.
I had steak for breakfast.
Steak and eggs, yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite popular American breakfast.
For breakfast for me is always like, I would look at it as sausage, egg, bacon. That's one side of it, and the other side is like cereal or a muffin.
Yeah.
That's the most I would have for breakfast.
I think if I had to choose what breakfast I would have an omelette, 3-egg omelette with onions, tomatoes, a vegetarian one. I don't really like meat in the omelette, so
a vegetarian one.
Yeah, like red peppers, green peppers, onions, mushrooms, that sort of stuff.
Nice.
A little bit of cheese. Or if I was just having a coffee, I'd like a bagel with like chocolate in.
I would like a bagel with cream cheese, to be fair.
Yeah, cream cheese bagel or like a blueberry muffin.
Yeah.
Or like a croissant.
Yeah. Anyway, this is reasons why American breakfasts are the way they are.
When you think of American breakfast food, you probably think of things like cereal and milk, toast, eggs, pancakes, French toast, orange juice, and coffee. Or a McDonald's breakfast burrito. But few realize that there are actual, factual reasons Americans eat the food they do at breakfast. Today, we're going to take a look at the reasons why American breakfasts are the way they are. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave us a comment and let us know what other corners of breakfast history you would like us to explore. Okay, wakey wakey, it's eggs and bakey. America runs on Dunkin' and Starbucks and Pete's. Also Folgers, Chock-fil-A Nuts, Maxwell House, Gevalia. Long story short, America runs on coffee. But it wasn't always that way. Once upon a time, America's breakfast beverage of choice was actually tea, which makes sense since the U.S. started out as British colonies and, well, you know how the British are with their tea.
Tea?
Tea was once as central to American life as it was in Britain. Both upper and middle-class colonists drank tea, both for its purported health benefits and as a social activity. You know, when you get together with your mates to clink saucers, that's probably what they called it, right? However, it was partly because of tea's strong association with British life that coffee wound up becoming the American breakfast drink of choice. In 1765, Britain passed the Stamp Act, imposing a series of taxes on goods, one of those goods being tea. The colonists were pretty unhappy with the act and responded with protests that included the famous Boston Tea Party. But some colonists went even further and boycotted the beverage altogether. Those brave souls turned to alternative beverages instead, like coffee. But it was really during the Civil War that coffee consumption in America increased dramatically. To improve their focus and endurance during the war, soldiers were given coffee rather than the standard rum and brandy. Because it's generally more advantageous to have your soldiers high on speed rather than drunk on well liquor. As more and more coffee was imported for the soldiers, demand for the drink expanded beyond the battlefield and into American homes. Fast forward about 150 years later, and there's a Starbucks on every corner. Kind of feels like that mermaid logo should be draped in an American flag.
You see, I think I'd struggle there because
You've never had a cup.
I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. No, but
that is absolutely insane.
I struggle to go into coffee shops because I absolutely hate the smell of it.
Don't, because that's like my favourite smell ever. It's like walking into a coffee shop or like in the morning, like waking up, you know, like little like bed and breakfast, and like you can just smell the coffee.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they say to put a pot of coffee on or fresh flowers when you're selling your house.
Yes, they do, to make it more homely.
Yeah. I love the.
When you make a cup of coffee in the kitchen as well, I'm not hanging around in the kitchen.
And when you go to a department store and you know, like when you're trying different perfumes and aftershaves, have you seen what they give you in between? So they have like a little container and it's full of coffee beans. So you spray some perfume on and you smell it and you're like, oh, that's nice. Now if you go then get another perfume and spray that, you've got the same. So they give you a coffee thing because you smell the coffee and it gets rid of all the scent of the perfume and then you smell a new perfume.
Never knew that.
Interesting. What's your go-to thing to go on toast?
Marmite.
Yeah.
Or cheese.
Low fat butter.
Yeah.
Maybe bit of cheese on toast.
I would put butter and then jam on top of the butter as well.
I do like jam.
Yeah.
I like marmalade.
I like lemon curd.
I like lime curd.
Interesting. Let's see what they are.
Humans have been eating bread for about
Cream cheese.
10,000 years, give or take a few hundred. However, the invention of toast, which is essentially just burnt bread, is credited to the Romans who first toasted stale bread in order to preserve it. The idea was a big hit. It's hard to say no to that irresistible crunch, and toast remained a staple fare throughout the centuries. But it didn't find its permanent place on American breakfast plates until the 19th century, when the Seventh-day Adventist Church promoted it as a healthy, quick, and affordable breakfast. Back then, people made toast by holding it on a fork or in a frame by a fire or stove. In 1893, the Eclipse toaster was introduced as the world's first electric toaster. But while it was a huge step forward, the machine toasted only one side at a time, so you still had to manually flip the bread, which kind of makes it worthless. The whole point of a toaster is that you can watch Netflix on your phone while it does all the work for you. Come on, 1893, figure it out. Then, right around 1919, several technological advancements led to the invention of the automatic pop-up toaster. This was followed in 1928 by the invention of pre-sliced bread. It was the combination of these two inventions that made toast easily accessible nationwide. But what really cemented toast's place in American breakfast were changes in American work life. In the early 20th century, the working and middle classes found they no longer had time for the elaborate breakfast spreads of eras past. So rather than cook a full meal, homemakers started preparing breakfasts that were simple and quick. Thanks to the invention of the pop-up toaster and sliced bread, toast was a natural fit. Based on its name, most people probably assume that French toast is, French. Like French braids, French fries, or the French kiss. But it's not. In actuality, French toast doesn't have a single origin. The earliest known reference to this particular breakfast staple actually comes from an ancient Roman cookbook called Apicius. That recipe, which may date all the way back to the 1st century CE, calls for the chef to remove the crust from fine white bread, slice it into rather large pieces, soak those in beaten eggs and milk, then fry the concoction in oil. Once cooked, the book recommends covering the toast with honey. The author was presumably banished from polite society for this recipe, because what devilment would possess you to soak a hunk of bread in raw eggs?
French toast tastes the same whether it's in pieces or whether it's whole. I mean, bread is bread, you know?
Various other versions of French toast continued to crop up all throughout Europe in the Middle Ages. Like regular toast, French toast was just a way to rehabilitate stale bread, and wasn't so much a luxurious dish reserved for the rich as it was a money saver for a thrifty crowd. So how did this dish come to be known as French toast? Well, no one is exactly sure. But in the US, it used to be called a lot of things, including German toast and Spanish toast. Kinda sounds like we should just call it European wet bread. Prior to the invention of cereal, Americans, for the most part, ate full, hearty breakfasts that included the same type of foods they'd eat at dinner. As time went on, however, Americans began experiencing frequent indigestion, and health experts quickly blamed breakfast as the cause.
Seriously, dude, light a candle.
Turns out you really shouldn't eat pizza anytime, even if it is on a bagel. These experts argued for lighter, more nutrient-rich breakfasts, and voila, cereal was invented. In the 1870s, a fellow named James Caleb Jackson introduced granula, which was twice-baked pebbles of flour, to the United States. But as appetizing as twice-baked pebbles of flour sounds, there was a minor problem. Eating granula on its own was pretty much impossible. The pebbles were hard as rocks. An emergency dental trip was just waiting to happen. As a solution, Jackson's mother, Lucretia Edgerton Jackson, suggested soaking the granula in milk or warm water to make it edible. A short time later, a guy named John Harvey Kellogg, whose last name you probably recognize, came up with his own version of granula. Kellogg made a minor spelling adjustment to Jackson's product name and then gifted the world with what he called granola. Kellogg's granola started to take off, along with the...
I absolutely love granola.
I know you do.
But would you rather have it like with milk or like
yogurt? I don't like milk, so
no,
I have
yeah,
it
true.
With,
That's crazy. You don't like milk.
Yeah, and I've tried it like as an adult, like as a child. I hated it.
Is it just like you don't just like milk on its own, or you couldn't put milk in anything?
No, I can put on cereal. That's why.
No, but that's kind of tasting them. Like, would you not put it in your coffee?
No.
No.
Don't have it in coffee. Just black coffee. I don't like milk at all. So if I have granola, I have a dollop of yogurt. I'm not actually a fan of yogurt. But a dollop of yogurt just to kind of moisten it a little bit.
Yeah, because it'd be the driest thing ever.
Yeah.
You couldn't actually like
and
eat
then
it, could you?
fruits, but no, don't like yogurt. Tried it.
What's your favourite cereal?
I love
everything.
Like, I'm quite a standard guy, to be honest. Like, I love Weetabix.
I like Weetabix,
but then like the unhealthy ones, I would go. I like Weetabix, cornflakes, Rice Krispies, like that time, Cheerios, and then you've got like your Crave, which is like.
Love Crave.
Yeah. Would that be an American thing? Is that?
Yeah, so it's like little pillows stuffed with chocolate inside.
Yeah.
But another one I love.
America,
another one I love is like Cookie Crisp.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Cookie Crisp! I forgot about that. That's my favourite cereal ever. Honestly,
yeah.
Honestly, every day, for school, that's all I had was Cookie Crisp.
Yeah.
I loved it.
But then you've got like American ones that I really want to try, like Fruit Loops.
Lucky Charms. Yeah, I think
they've
it's like that.
Or like the Reese's, cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I bet they just have like so much more amazing but very sugary cereal in America.
Yeah,
it's funny, isn't it? Because I was like a very strict mum with like sugar and stuff. So when like I used to give them like Weetabix or cornflakes, and when we came to visit, they were probably only about 7 and 4 or something. And my mum made breakfast, and Declan said, "Mummy, what's this white stuff on my cornflakes?" And my mum would put sugar on.
Do you know what I do that with? I always get Frosties, but if I have cornflakes, I'll always put a little bit of sugar on the top.
Yeah, no, I never put sugar on even like drinks. Like I never did. I don't think you had a fizzy drink till you were about 4.
But
that's quite normal, that though. You wouldn't give a fizzy drink
you
to
wouldn't
a 3-year-old.
like a little bottle to a kid, would you?
No, but I've seen like kids in restaurants now when they're like 2 and 3 drinking like a Coke.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen Arlo drink a fizzy drink, and he's 4.
No, he doesn't like it. That's why. He else tried it, but he didn't like it.
Arlo's the funniest kid. Every time I have something and he wants it, all you have to do is just say it's spicy.
Yeah.
And he won't want it.
Really?
Yeah. I was eating a sweet the other day, and he was like, "Can I have one?" I was like, "Mate, it's so spicy." And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
The practice of soaking it in milk or warm water if you're some kind of maniac. Today, cereal is much softer and, crucially,
Cocoa Pops
edible
good.
all on its own. But most people still prefer to pour milk over it. Today, orange juice is the classic breakfast beverage of choice.
That's what I would have for a breakfast drink.
I love orange juice.
Yeah.
Every morning I have a massive big
The
glass of
best orange juices is
freshly squeezed.
Tropicana, like when you the little bottles you get from McDonald's. Tropicana.
Oh my god, the absolute best. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the best is the freshly squeezed one that you get in like the plastic bottle.
No,
not in the
it's
carton.
not, Gaynor.
The little
bits.
You got the
Tropicana.
bits in and everything. Oh.
No, I can't have bits.
No, I love it.
No. Or apple juice, love a bit of apple juice.
What do you prefer, apple juice or orange juice?
Honestly, it's like probably one of the most difficult decisions ever.
It is. You know what I might do?
Darren
I might
has
put.
pineapple juice.
I might put a poll at the top of the top of this video.
Yeah, what's
your
At the top of the
favourite
comments.
juice?
No, I'm going to put apple juice or orange juice, and
Yeah.
whichever one wins.
Orange
Yeah.
juice will win hands down.
Oh, I don't know.
Because you like apple juice.
I like them both, but I'd probably
Same.
go with
Apple
orange
juice
juice.
is for kids.
See, I'd probably say apple over apple juice.
Really?
It's just a bit, it's less heavy, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. But, do you know what I mean? It's a bit easy to drink.
No, I love orange juice.
Or just let us know in the comments, apple juice or orange juice.
Choice for Americans when coffee and or booze isn't available. But that wasn't always the case. The story of OJ's regular place on our breakfast tables starts in the 1920s, when biochemist Elmer McCollum kicked off America's obsession with vitamins by touting their healing properties. Corporate America then picked up the ball and ran with it, particularly Sunkist, who began marketing daily doses of its canned orange juice as containing all the vitamins and nutrients a person needs. McCollum then switched gears and introduced America to acidosis, which he claimed was a buildup of acid in the bloodstream that could cause fatigue. To prevent this condition, McCollum suggested people eat lettuce and citrus fruits, which are full of acid. The people in Sunkist's marketing department, who apparently just bought everything McCollum said, quickly latched on to the acidosis scare to promote its orange juice even more heavily than it did before. But it wasn't until after World War II that the drink's popularity at the breakfast table really picked up. During the
Orange
war, the
marmalade
government
juice.
needed a way to provide soldiers with vitamin C.
Okay.
So they charged all of their scientists with developing an orange juice that was superior to the canned variety commonly available at the time. It's unclear how they did this. Maybe they made the orange juice lift weights? Those scientists succeeded in their task, developing the product we now know as frozen concentrated orange juice.
I used to buy that.
The problem was, they did it 3 years after the war had ended. Luckily, corporate America was only too happy to pick up their research. And by the 1950s, mass-produced fresh frozen orange juice was a staple in American pantries.
Quench your thirst with health. Quench your thirst with wonderful fresh frozen orange juice from Florida, the state of health.
Orange juice has solidified its reputation as an affordable, healthy breakfast beverage, although its supposed health benefits are dubious at best. Bagels, in their simplest form, round rolls with a hole in the center, have been traced all the way back to ancient Egypt. But the bagel as we know it, a perfect delivery system for fried eggs and cream cheese, can be traced to 14th century Poland. German immigrants who were moving into the region at the time brought with them one of mankind's greatest inventions, the pretzel. Over time, those pretzels morphed into one of mankind's other greatest inventions, the modern bagel. Then, when Jadwiga of Poland, the first female monarch of the Kingdom of Poland, chose to eat bagels during Lent, they began to gain popularity among the nobility. As Germans were migrating to Poland, Jewish immigrants were too. At the time, Christians banned Jewish people from making bread in many regions because of the food's connection to the rite of communion. But Poland became the first to allow Jewish people to bake and sell bread, including bagels. And it was late 19th century Jewish immigrants who first brought bagels to America. Despite the popularity of bagels today, they were not a big hit in America at first. That would change in the 1970s when bagels exploded in popularity across the broader U.S. after Lender's began marketing frozen bagels.
Now my new Lender's bakery-style bagels stay chewy and delicious for days and days.
While we're on the topic of round breakfast-baked goods that have a hole in them,
You wouldn't have donuts for breakfast, would you?
Americans do.
Do they?
Yeah.
A coffee, you see it in like
Dunkin'
a
Donuts.
coffee and a
coffee
donut,
and a donut.
yeah.
In the morning, I'm not sure about that.
Sugar donut with coffee. With,
the best donut's just a glazed donut, standard glazed.
I like the ones with like it's got like a custard cream inside.
Oh, I do like them as well.
But it's a bit more of a dessert over here, isn't it? Like after something you'd have after dinner.
If you're having a donut in the morning, you'd be like, what are you doing? That actually isn't a cultural thing, is it?
No, not at all.
The middle, let's talk donuts. The modern donut, as we know it, is widely believed to have originated in the 18th century, when Dutch immigrants brought them to New York. Back then, they were called oliekoeks, or oily cakes, which sounds more like a used hamburger bun than a delicious breakfast treat. The recipe evolved from there, with a 19th century ship captain claiming to have created the familiar donut shape with a hole at the center. While that anecdote is disputed, what is certain is that World War I saw the donut become cemented as an American staple. Volunteers in France gave donuts to American soldiers in the trenches to remind them of home. Then in 1920, a guy named Adolf Levitt invented the first donut machine. The ability to mass-produce donuts instantly made them a symbol of progress. And at the 1934 World's Fair, they were seen as the food of the future. Back then, a donut cost a mere nickel, which made them accessible to almost everyone, even those hit hardest by the Great Depression. And by the 1950s, Krispy Kreme stores were in 12 states, and donuts were considered the quintessential American breakfast food. But while all this seems straightforward enough, the origins of donuts are actually contested.
Can I just ask, how would you spell donut?
D-O-U-G-H. D-O-U-G-H-N-U-T.
Yeah, because I would always just spell it D-O-N-U-T.
That's what I was thinking. Is it like... But which way is the correct way?
That's what I'm saying, because if you look at this, it's spelt like that there, the way you said it.
Yeah. Originally, I'd think that way.
And then it's spelled like...
actual dough.
Donuts were considered the...
Like that there.
Donuts. Yeah, it's
that's how I would spell donuts, but there's two ways of spelling it, isn't there?
I would spell it dough, nuts.
Yeah, I would like actual dough, not...
No, I would do dough, D-O-U-G-H, nuts. That's do nuts.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
Quintessential American breakfast food. But while all this seems straightforward enough, the origins of donuts are actually contested. Fossilized versions have been found in Native American settlements, throwing this widely accepted narrative into question, and also making us wonder why no natural history museum has donut skeletons on display. In 1901, Force cereal changed the world forever by showing up on supermarket shelves with a mascot on the box, Sunny Jim. It's hard to believe now, but this was a pretty big anomaly for the time. People were not used to Captain Crunch or the Honey Smacks frog. Sunny Jim was so wildly successful that other cereal brands took notice and began to develop their own mascots. Beginning in the 1930s, cereal mascots like Snap, Crackle, and Pop, Tony the Tiger, Captain Crunch, and Toucan Sam were introduced and proved to be just as successful as Sunny Jim.
I did not know that Toucan had a name when I said Fruit Loops.
No, I didn't either.
Toucan Sam, is it?
No, I didn't know.
Arguably, more so.
I was actually going to say to you before it came on, who's the mascot for Rice Krispies?
Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Would you have got it before it
No,
said
yeah,
it?
100%, yeah.
Of you has actually heard of Sunny Jim. Then, in the 60s, the cereal mascot's star power received a major boost from the introduction of color TVs in homes throughout the country. Cereal companies used their compelling characters, complete with elaborate backstories and complex plots, to market their cereal to kids. It was an extremely successful tactic, with one minor problem. The cereals marketed with cute cartoon mascots were, and still are, usually full of sugar.
Super Sugar Crisp is coated with super sugar to make it taste so sweet.
Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, public health organizations urged companies to scale back their aggressive targeting of youngsters. The Children's Television Act of 1990 limited the number of advertisements in kids' programming. And in 2006, several major companies pledged to use their characters to market healthier options. We like to think Sunny Jim would be proud, whoever the hell he is. So what do you think? Which of these breakfast foods do you eat to start your day?
Batman cereal.
Batman.
Get all over that, I would love that.
Mr. T and Pac-Man.
Never seen that.
I'm just curious about, like, what way, like, Dunkin' Donuts is spelled now, type thing. Do you know what I mean?
Dunkin'.
Yeah. Dunkin' Donuts, spelled Donuts.
Yeah.
I just think that's just always the way I've spelt it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme donut, spell it the other way.
Yeah. So there's no right or wrong way.
No.
Yeah, when you type in, it says a donut or donut, spelled both ways.
Yeah.
I wonder where that's come from.
Yeah.
That's really strange, isn't it?
I'm guessing it was the word dough, and then you put nuts on the end, and then they just shortened
Some
it
people
down.
couldn't spell it, so they just thought, we'll just spell it like this then, go on. Just make
Probably
it 2
me, I
ways.
made it up.
Anyway, what would be your breakfast choice out of them if you were living in America?
Well, I wouldn't pick any of the cereals, unless...
Okay.
Maybe.
I probably wouldn't either, to be fair. I would go with the bagel with the cream cheese, I reckon.
So I went through a stage of eating lox and bagels all the time, and you probably don't know what lox are, but it's like smoked salmon. So it would be a bagel
with cream cheese,
and smoked salmon.
That'd be nice.
It's called lox and bagel.
Interesting. What would yours be, Soph?
I don't know. It depends. I think bagel if I'm in like a savoury mood, but then I love French toast. So it's in like a.
I don't think I've ever had French toast.
You have.
Oh, it's nice.
When?
When you were kids, I just used to make it all the time just to get, because it's quite stodgy.
From what I remember, I've never had French toast.
What I used to do is I used to beat the eggs up, and then I used to put cinnamon in there.
Yeah.
And then just dip the. I used to cut the bread into like strips and then dip it in, and then just like pan fry it, and you used to just hold it in your high chair and eat it.
Oh.
You used to like it.
What would yours be?
The bagel with cream cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like omelette though. I do like a good omelette. So I think that's my breakfast of choice.
Yeah, they are good
Delicious.
breakfasts though. It's just donuts a bit questionable, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not something we have over here.
Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for us, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.